All right, day 4. This is the 5th meal, I believe. There was a few tiny micro snacks throughout the day of the 3 macadamia nuts and a couple of cashew milk. Here's what's left of that gargantuan mound of all different kinds of greens and vegetables that I made earlier. Those comprise like what, 3 meals today? So this, if I cut this in half, this will make 2 more meals for tomorrow or the next day. I might take a little bit of this and make a soup along with some chicken in it. And I did mention earlier that we're going to talk about soups later as a foundation for what we're doing. So as it is right now, we just finished teaching a class. Abby and Keely were here. We taught a kids class. I felt really good throughout the class. My energy level is sustaining itself very, very well. Today, one of the things that I'm sharing with you is that I have noticed that I tend to have a little bit of craving for fatty kinds of stuff. And that seems to be solved pretty easily by just simply not getting in a fight with the impulse or the craving and just kind of breathing in, breathing with it, making a little space, and then just following it, like understanding that it's actually a message saying, hey, you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable. There's a kind of a wanting, so this means that all these 400 billion workers that I put to work doing a good thing for me and my whole ecosystem in terms of probiotics need a little bit more resources and a little bit more help. So instead of me going with the old momentum of just eating a cheeseburger, which would be pretty normal, do you realize that are there things that you could eat every single meal? You know, my dog and my cat, Rasa and the cat, they eat the same thing all the time. Well, sometimes we let them have little things of what we're having, and today I gave them a little bit of that salmon that I made, and they really liked it. Even with the ginger on it, they ate it. But are there things that you could eat every meal and not complain ever and never get bored? Like, for me, that would be a cheeseburger. I could eat a cheeseburger every single meal. No problem whatsoever. I do notice that there is a little bit of like desire to have something different. I don't get bored with things as a matter of principle. So I would be just as happy eating this, what's left of this stuff that we made earlier, right? But I have something new here that I made, so it's, if you can see it here, let me make an adjustment. So it's cauliflower, broccoli. I put an 1/8 cup of corn. Corn has been more or less mostly removed from my diet, but given that I'm noticing that I'm wanting this sort of my body's wanting something, I'm going to aim for a little bit of the corn. And I added about an 1/8 cup of corn, an 1/8 of a cup of turnips, and an 1/8 of a cup of butternut squash. So those are things that have, you know, a bit of carbohydrate. Corn has a little more fat in it, and you know, it's likely going to be quite satiating. And I have one of these grillers. Now they're kind of high in fat. I prefer not to eat these too often, but it is going to mix it up a little bit, and I do like them. So Abby's having one, Keely's having one. They're eating the same thing that I'm eating here today. I'm eating a fair amount of, like, almost 2 handfuls of the vegetables. And again, as we've talked, the protein source, this veggie burger, it's mainly a soy product, is about the size of the palm of my hand. And so I know that later I'm going to need a snack. I'm planning ahead for that. This time I may have maybe about 1/2 cup to a cup of yogurt, of Greek yogurt. I may have about 1/4 cup of blueberries with that, and I'll probably also have like about 1/4 cup of nuts. I'll have that maybe 3 or 4 hours. Today I've needed to eat about every 2.5 to 3 hours. So I'll have that later, and if I get hungry in the middle of the night, I'm going to have another one of those prepared, possibly with that, say, roughly about 1/4 cup of oatmeal as well. So there's the plan. For today, I think one of the most important parts of the plan is we're looking at how to transform our intention in the way that I described earlier. And we're also looking how to experience and kind of frame what our kind of impulse or craving is for certain kinds of food. Just because I crave a cheeseburger doesn't mean that I need to be a slave to that craving. I can look at the craving from a slightly different point of view. I can breathe a little bit with it. I can value the craving. I definitely want to value it. I don't want to get in a fight with it. I don't want to be like trying to force this craving to stop. It's not going to stop. That's a fight. I can't win that fight. I don't want to get in a fight with a craving, because that's really, think about it. Let's realign our thinking. That's our body asking us for the things that we need. And so I'm just trying to get more clear about what actually is going to be helpful, what really is going to help. And that's been the main theme here today. And it is going quite well. So stick with me. You can do it.